Hello, hello. I hope this is working. Yes, it is working and it is very slow. Okay. Let's wait a few seconds and hopefully maybe one more person will come in here. Or two, or three. That'd be nice. Hi, Will! Happy New Year's! Thank you for coming to my live stream, my very small live stream. It is not nice weather in Okinawa today, as you probably know, since you're here. The weather is a little depressing today, but it is winter, technically, in Okinawa, so it is what it is when it comes to winter. I am assuming everyone can hear me. Yes. Okay. All right. So I'll just get into it, and if Will, you have any questions or comments, or if anyone watching has any comments or questions, please put them in the chat at any time, because I don't know what people want to learn about when it comes to Okinawan longevity. I have all the information, I just don't know what people want to really know about. So I always choose misconceptions because they're driving me crazy. Actually, a few minutes before I started this live stream, I was looking at the comments on my YouTube channel, which are few, but still, I get them. And actually this morning, so I woke up and I saw the notification thing, so I clicked it and I saw that yet again, someone commented about Okinawan longevity, and it was wrong. And it was another misconception, and they were very angry with me in their comments, telling me I was wrong. And it's just very frustrating because I am 99.99999% sure that this person has never come to Okinawa to study about Okinawan longevity, is not a part of the Okinawa Research Center for Longevity Science like I am, and does not speak Japanese or some of the Okinawan language like I do. So it's just very frustrating because people keep reading the books about Okinawan longevity that are made by a certain person who doesn't speak Japanese or live here or care about the Okinawans. But people keep reading that book and then repeating what this certain guy says about Okinawan longevity. So I am here to teach people that what that certain person wrote about Okinawan longevity is wrong, and we need to band together to teach the truth about Okinawan longevity, because I can't do it by myself. So if you are watching this, please help me. Please comment on influencers' pages, influencers' videos, YouTubers' videos. Every week someone's coming to Okinawa and claiming that they can teach about Okinawan longevity. I saw a YouTube video the other day of a couple that came to Okinawa, and they were like, oh, the Okinawans are living a long time because they have mangoes and pineapples or something. And I was like what? Like, that's the most ridiculous statement ever. But people keep doing that, and they have a lot of followers, so it's hard to correct them, right? Because they'll delete your comment or something. So who is the man spreading misinformation? Okay, so I have always said I'm scared to say this, but I know I have very few followers. So it's okay because this is not going to spread to the certain man. But the certain person that is spreading misinformation is Dan Buettner, the guy who trademarked Blue Zones. He was in National Geographic. All the books you see, like anytime you see the word Blue Zone, it's him because he trademarked it in the United States of America. And he has all the Blue Zone YouTube channel, Blue Zone book, recipe book. He has all that stuff. So it's him. And I'm going to go through the misconceptions and I'll list what he's been telling people because he has a secret agenda or something and wants people to think a certain way. So he's been I'm just going to say he's been lying about Okinawan longevity. And I know this because I have talked to Okinawans who have worked with him and they told me. They told me that they're ashamed of the work that they submitted to him. They told me that he gets angry at them when they say a certain thing about longevity because it doesn't align with what he wants to teach the world. Lots of Okinawans. It's not good. It makes me sad. So that's what I do here, is to be their voice because they don't speak English and they obviously don't know how to work YouTube and technology and stuff because they're much older. So that's what I'm here for. Okay, so that little introduction, I guess you say. My name is Christal Burnette. I am a Okinawan longevity specialist, which some people think is a ridiculous term, but I don't know what to label myself because this is something that I created myself. I've just studied and researched the Okinawans and why they live very healthy and a long time. So gave the words Okinawan longevity specialist. And I also am a part of the Okinawa Research Center for Longevity Science, which was established by Dr. Makoto Suzuki, who discovered Okinawan longevity. He's 91 years old now, but he's still working. We work together. Saw him yesterday. See him every week. See him a lot. We go on trips together too, to other countries. We're going to Thailand next week, so that'll be fun to give speeches about Okinawan longevity to people in Thailand. And also, me and Dr. Suzuki, we are part of the Okinawa Blue Zone Committee. So Dr. Suzuki changed the name to the Okinawa Blue Zone Committee because he knows that the word Blue Zone is very popular, and he wants more people to how do you say, like, understand those terms, because I don't hate the term Blue Zone, and I understand when people use it to convey, like, because when you know what a Blue Zone is, and you put Blue Zone on your product, or you put Blue Zone in your committee, then people understand what the contents are. So that's why it's called the Okinawa Blue Zone Committee. It used to be called the Old People Committee, but he changed it from Old People Committee to Blue Zone Committee. Yeah, I know that damn guy. I say that all the time. I say that with bad words, though. Okay, so now that I've told everyone about Dan, let's go through number one about a misconception that he's kind of spread out there, and people are taking it and running with it. So number one is purple sweet potato. Now, I get people coming to me in Okinawa all the time, and I offer tours. I give blues, I don't say Blue Zone tours, but I give Okinawan longevity tours. And every time people come to me, they ask me, they say, I want to buy purple sweet potato, I want to eat purple sweet potato, where are the purple sweet potatoes? I can't find them, they're not everywhere like I thought they'd be, etc., etc., etc. So one of the biggest conceptions is that purple sweet potato is not a huge part of the Okinawan diet. I've interviewed Okinawans. I call them friends because I see them on a daily basis. I asked them, what did you eat when you were younger, and what did your parents eat when they were younger? What did you eat growing up? And they say, so this is important. You got to know Japanese. Having a translator is fine, but if you can know Japanese, you can dive deeper into knowing what they're trying to tell you, because they don't know why they live a long time. So I speak Japanese, so I'm able to do this. And they say imo. So I say, what did you eat growing up? And they say imo. Imo means potato. It doesn't tell you what color it is. So then I have to specifically ask beni imo, which is purple sweet potato, and they always go no. All of them that I've asked, I said, growing up, was it beni imo? And they all say no. So I say, what kind of imo was it? Or was it satsumaimo, which is yellow sweet potato? And they always say, yeah, satsumaimo. Now, if I didn't know, I didn't have my research background, I would say, oh, they ate yellow sweet potatoes. Now, that is true. They ate yellow sweet potatoes, but you have to look at the variety. And then I asked my other teacher, she's the lady in the red kitchen in the Netflix documentary. I asked her, the elderly people tell me it's satsumaimo. And she says, yes, it's satsumaimo. But back then, the potatoes were yellow or yellow to whitish color. So they weren't as intense as people are imagining. So the elderly people, let me re-clarify this, ate yellow or yellow to white sweet potatoes, which makes, think logically, this makes a lot more sense because I've had purple sweet potato, obviously. I think you guys watching have had purple sweet potato, and it is intense, and it doesn't taste like a dinner food, right? So could you imagine eating that like almost every day, a purple sweet potato? I remember thinking when I first heard that misconception, eating a purple sweet potato every day for dinner, like they did that? That's crazy. But actually, it makes sense that it was yellow to white, which makes it, you could eat that every day. It's a little more like on the dinner side, I guess, how to explain it, but yeah, so they ate yellow to white. But the purple sweet potato looks cool, so we put it in the marketing and you put it in the Netflix documentary picture, and it looks, and I mean, it does look cool, and now they're sold everywhere, in at least the United States I know of. I don't know about other countries, even though they weren't before. And they are healthy for you. You definitely should have them sometimes. They're like blueberries, right? They're the blue-purple colors. They have polyphenols and antioxidants, so they're very good for you. But most common to find in Canada are the orange ones, right? And in the States. And here, too, actually. You can find more yellow sweet potatoes here than you can find purple sweet potato. Another reason I asked a farmer about purple sweet potatoes, and he said that it's a little difficult to grow them, especially in Okinawan soil. So that makes sense that they weren't a part of the daily diet. But you can't sell yellow sweet potatoes, but you can sell purple sweet potatoes. So that's why that's the way things went, I suppose. Yeah. So about that, don't stress. I'm going to give you solutions with each misconception. I'm not just going to bad talk these misconceptions. It's to not stress, though. If you ever thought you had to eat purple sweet potato to live a long time, that's not the truth. Okinawans would sometimes eat rice. If they had money, they could eat rice. And just to keep it clear, they just had clean carbs. So when I say clean carbs, it's just a potato or rice. It wasn't complicated bread. They never had bread. But if we're talking about carbs, just eat clean carbs. So if you eat bread, have a bread that's made with very few ingredients, no additives or preservatives, because this also goes to the Mediterranean diet, which is very healthy as well. Don't do the keto diet. Going to the next concept, don't do the keto diets. None of the people in the longevity hotspots in the world do keto. They eat their carbs. They just have good portions and eat carbs that are sourced from, organic, maybe not necessarily organic, but things that don't have a bunch of preservatives and additives, okay? So please tell people that purple sweet potato was not a part of the traditional longevity diet. It's driving me insane. So I tell people that come on the tour, sorry, not big part of the diet. I'm going to teach you the truth. And sometimes I think they're a little disappointed, but sorry, I'm not here to sell you more things. So, and number 2 is veganism. So this is one of the reasons that people having a lot of misconceptions about Okinawa due to Dan is there's this, for some reason, people keep thinking that the Okinawans were practically vegan. And so going back to what I said, the introduction of this live stream is that I opened up my YouTube channel this morning and I opened up a comment, and the comment said, well, no, the Okinawans were vegan and that's why they live a long time, because they ate mostly tofu, vegetables, and exercised. And this is like the 100th comment I've gotten like that, and it's very confusing because these people have never come to Okinawa and researched Okinawan longevity. I guess they think I'm just a random white girl that lives in the States and read the same books as them. But I'm not. I live here. I lived here for 10 years. I speak the language, and this is my day job, studying this and then selling products, the products that they ate. So I think I know a little bit about Okinawa longevity. So they're not vegan, and they're not really close to being vegan either. Now I want to show you something about food. So this book right here is called Hyakusai no Kagaku. So few people watching this live stream right now are actually getting a super duper big secret that pretty much no one knows, and I've never put this on YouTube yet because I learned about it somewhat recently, is that Dr. Suzuki wrote this book a very long time ago, and this was before the Okinawa program. So this is pretty much, not exactly, it's not a translation, but this is pretty much the Okinawa program before the Okinawa program was written. So Dr. Suzuki wrote all about longevity by himself in this book a very long time ago, way before the Okinawa program. So he had this book. It was a very good seller in Japan, and then him and the other authors were like, oh, well, let's do an English version. So I have even the original information on Okinawan longevity. And I have this pink tab here to quickly show you that Dr. Suzuki, when he would go visit all the centenarians, centenarian is someone who lives to 100, and he would write down their daily diet. So it's in Japanese, so I'll read it to you. But so for example, this is a woman who lived to 100 years old, and he asked her what's her diet, and her diet in the morning was a cup of rice, miso soup, with in her miso soup she put an egg and mugwort in her miso soup. That's breakfast. For lunch, she had another cup of rice, another cup of miso soup, and in her miso soup, she had an egg, karashina, which is like a type of herb, and miso. And then she had boiled fish for lunch. Okay? So, you see what I'm getting here. And then for dinner, she had another cup of rice, and then she had goya champuru. And goya champuru, if you know Okinawa, you know goya champuru, but for those who don't, it's a mixture of bitter melon, and then a mixture maybe of like egg, tofu, pork, whatever you want. So, for her dinner, she had goya champuru, and it says here her goya champuru was goya, pork, and tofu. And this is a woman who's 100 years old, and this woman who is 100 years old, this book was written, I probably should have checked the date it was published. It was published a very long time ago, though, probably like when I was born. Let's see, when was this book published? Oh, of course it's in Showa. What is Showa 60? Showa 60. Wait, 1 second to... Showa 60 is 1984. Okay. So this book was published in 1984. So the lady that was 100 this is before 1984. So... if she was alive today, I'm sorry, I'm not very good at math. If she was alive today, she'd be 130, 140, okay? So she was born in the 1800s. So at the age of 100, she was eating eggs and pork and fish. I mean, we're talking about portion size, but she had meat with every morning, afternoon, night. Like, it just frustrates me because people keep saying, like, yeah, no, the Okinawans, they hardly had meat, but you look at all the different stages in their life, and there's meat sprinkled all over the place. And then there's more diets in here as well. As a man who was 102, he was also having eggs and pork and beef, and he was eating beef. We got another one. Another lady who was 100, she had milk, she had porridge with pork. It's just, the meat was everywhere. Now, to be fair, when they were growing up, how much meat did they eat? They did eat meat, though, depending on their economic status or what the status was on the island. So, I mean, it's frustrating. So, they weren't close to being vegan. Now, they didn't eat meat intensely like we do today, but they were not vegan, and I just want vegan people to stop saying it. I love veganism, okay? I love having vegan food. I'm not vegan myself, but I love the concept, and I think it's great for people who are not vegan to just sometimes have meals with no meat. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the truth of the Okinawan diet, and the truth is that they were not vegan. Now, pork. This is a side note that I thought of when I was writing down my list of misconceptions, is that pork is getting a lot of bad rap these days, but Okinawans ate a ton of pork. A ton of pork. And there's parasites. That's a new thing these days, is parasites. So I just want to address super quickly if we're talking about meat, and some people will say they don't eat pork. I understand the thing about parasites. I just want to say that Okinawans, the way that they cook is very slow and it's very long. So when they cook pork, they cook it for hours on a very low temperature. They cook it for a long time. So that way the meat is thoroughly cooked. It tastes delicious too. So if we're talking about pork and parasites, I don't know back then. I'm not a parasite expert, but I know that they cooked their food very thoroughly and very slowly at low temperatures, which is actually very healthy. It's not good to cook things at a very high temperature because that creates something called advanced glycation end products. That's AGEs. So the browning on your bread when you toast it, when you burn food, that's AGEs, and it's not good for you. The Okinawans did not typically cook food at high temps very quickly. They always did it very slowly, steaming and boiling. So that's very healthy, and maybe another key factor in how to eat healthy is to make sure the way you cook your food. So you just spent hours simmering pork for homemade ramen tonight. Exactly, that's healthy. Simmering pork for hours on end makes it not just taste better, but it has very low AGEs, and it's better for your body, especially your digestion if you have digestion issues. All right, so this vegan part leads to the next one, which is food is not the key to longevity. Big misconception. People won't stop talking about the Okinawan diet when it comes to Okinawan longevity. And I get it. Food is great. Food is something we can control. Food is something we eat every day. And we keep thinking that food is something that's going to make us live to 100. But you cannot eat your way to 100 years old. So food is not the key to longevity. There are other keys that are equally or maybe more important than food. But when people want to start talking about Okinawan longevity, just tell them it's not just food. It's all the other factors as well that I'm going to speak about in a second. But food is medicine. So it is going to help you live a long time, but consider it as medicine. The Okinawan way of thinking is food is medicine. And like I was saying, food is not key because I showed you in this book is that one person was drinking milk and beef, and the other one was having eggs and fish. All the Okinawans ate a variety of random stuff their entire lives. All of them ate crazy random things. My friends who are in their 90s, close to 100 right now, they also eat all different things. Some of them eat pizza. Some of them drink red wine. Some of them drink a lot of whiskey. Some of them don't drink at all. Some of them love fried chicken. Some of them love Coca-Cola. Others hate McDonald's, would never eat that. Some of them only eat goya champuru. Some of them eat miso soup. I can go on and on and on. So everyone's eating all different things. They've all had different childhoods. To explain very quickly, a lot of people don't know this, is that a lot of the Okinawans now, who are living to 100 now, when they were children, a lot of them were born in Taiwan or the Philippines because their family fled during the war. So the Okinawans who are living to 100 now weren't even born in Okinawa. They came back to Okinawa when they were teenagers, when there was nothing. Everything was burnt down. So we could talk all day about the Okinawans who were born in Okinawa and hid in caves, and then they had a different diet when during the war they were hiding in caves away from, bullets and bombs. Or we have the Okinawans who were born in Taiwan and their family had a nice life in Taiwan waiting for the war in Okinawa to finish. And then they grew up and they all had different amounts of money. Some had husbands, some their siblings died. This all changes, what you eat depending on where you are and what you can buy. And today, all of them are eating different stuff. So Dr. Suzuki hates it when people go to interview him and ask him about the diet, because just people need to stop asking about the diet, because it's important. Like, you need nutrition, of course you should eat healthy if you can, but don't stress yourself over it, and don't think that's all you need to focus on, because there are more things to focus on than just food. And Dr. Suzuki, this is a phrase that he always says, and it will be good for anyone watching. Someone's just said Canada, America, or Okinawa, is that don't worry about the ingredients. Stop thinking that you have to have purple sweet potato or bitter melon or whatever. It's about the cooking method. So, like I said, boiling, steaming, long time cooking, simmering, and eating with people, cooking with people if you can. I live alone, but being with people. So how you cook, how you eat, things like that are actually maybe more important than the ingredients that you're cooking. Okay, and then number 4, the 4th misconception is hara hachibu. Hara hachibu. A lot of people ask about this as well. People always say, oh, hara hachibu is another keto longevity. And it's kind of is, in a sense. So hara hachibu, if you don't know what that is, it is eating until you're 80% full. 80% full. Now, of course, this is good. Someone in the comments asked if I do water fasts. Do I still do 3-day water fasts? I don't even think I've ever posted about doing, or maybe I sometimes did a 3-day water fast. I haven't done a 3-day water fast in a very long time because they're very difficult. But what I do is intermittent fasting. And I try to do hara hachibu. I try to do hara hachibu. And hara hachibu is very difficult to do, I understand. Eating until you're 80% full, right? Not 100%. It's very difficult to do. So when I interview all the Okinawans that I know that are older, much older, I say, do you do hara hachibu? And all of them say they don't do it. All the Okinawans say they don't do hara hachibu, which shocked me because I thought this was another lie. I thought it was another lie spread by, the Okinawa Program Book or Dan Buettner, Blue Zones, hara hachibu is not real. But I didn't jump to conclusions. I first thought to myself, well, why are they saying they don't do hara hachibu, and yet they know the concept? Everyone knows the phrase hara hachibu. And I found that while eating with them, and also looking at their body and their weight, is that I believe they naturally practice hara hachibu without really knowing it. As an American who grew up in eating at Carrabba's, or it was mostly Carrabba's growing up. What else is there? Other, big restaurants, chain restaurants. You get a big portion, and you were told to eat all of it. So I remember always going home completely stuffed, and definitely not 100%. I was eating to 120%. It was very uncomfortable. But it was the habit. It was and especially in America or Canada or Australia or Europe, everywhere now, we're overeating. Looking at the Okinawans, when they eat, they don't overeat. They nibble, 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 sip, 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 talk, 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 laugh, 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 nibble, 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 sip, 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 talk, talk, sip, sip, drink, nibble, nibble, nibble. And I sometimes, when I'm very hungry, I'm scarfing down food, and then them next to me are not doing what I'm doing. So I found that they're very good at just keeping at good portions without really thinking about it. Now another hard part is, how do you know you're 80% full? Honestly, how do you know you're not 70, or how do you know you're not 90 or 95? You don't. So it's really just a concept of, do I feel overstuffed, or do I feel good? Do I feel satiated? So I think that they're very good at eating until they're satiated, because none of them are obese. None of them are overweight. And none of them scarf down food that I've seen so far. So hara hachibu is a natural part of their lifestyle, which is what I found. But if you interview them, if you come to Okinawa and you don't use me when you do any research or journal entries, articles, or documentaries, and you just go out there and interview an Okinawan and ask them if they do hara hachibu, they're all going to say no, and then you're going to be like, what am I supposed to write for my article? What am I supposed to write for my documentary, right? So this is very important information when you're actually researching the Okinawans today. So how do you do hara hachibu? What is the solution to help you do hara hachibu? I have found that the best thing that works for me is mindfulness. It's just mindfulness. It's taking a bite and really enjoying the taste, and then after a few bites, really feeling your stomach and feeling if it's full or not. I know mindfulness, to some it sounds cheesy, it sounds hard, it sounds ridiculous, it sounds unrealistic, but mindfulness actually works. Am I full? And if you think you're full, get up, walk around, and then you'll know. The signals from your stomach to your brain will work better, and you'll know if you're 80, 90, 95% full or not. So try to practice mindfulness. All right, the last one is a misconception that is linked to food is not the key. So food is not the key. So what's the key to longevity? And one of the biggest keys that I found, and Dr. Suzuki as well, is that ikigai. Yeah, ikigai. Ikigai is one of the best things you could do to live to 100. Now, why are we saying that? First, I want you to think logically. When I said that all the Okinawans eat different things, they do. They eat different things, right? There's no commonalities in there. And then if you look at the people that live to 100 in America or France or Canada or wherever, the people that live to 100 there are not eating an Okinawan diet, right? So what's the commonality? All these centenarians all over the world are not vegan. They're not eating purple sweet potatoes. And they are not practicing hara hachibu. I don't know Canadians or Americans that live to 100. They don't know what hara hachibu is. I think if you ask them, they say no. So what is the commonality? Is commonality a word? I think so. Maybe I just made it up. It is ikigai. Ikigai. So what is ikigai? Ikigai has no definition. It is there's no definition, but to put it simply, as most people know, it is your purpose in life. Your purpose in life. It's deeper than that. That's not the definition, but for the sake of concept, it's your purpose in life. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know, is that not all Okinawans know what the word ikigai is. I have interviewed lots of Okinawans, and half of them, when I say, what's your ikigai, half of them say, what is an ikigai? They don't know the word ikigai. So big misconception is that ikigai is an Okinawan concept, but it's not. Ikigai is not Okinawan concept. It didn't start in Okinawa. It started in Japan, and then it spread from mainland Japan. So it's not, the Ikigai book, I have it. I don't even want to show it because it's just such a disappointment. But the Ikigai, the Ikigai book, the blue one with the purple flowers? Okay, I'll show it. So this book, it talks about Okinawans and how they have an Ikigai and it leads to their longevity, blah, blah, blah. But Ikigai is not an Okinawan concept. This book was terrible, to be honest. If you've read it and you liked it, I want you to read it again, because it's half why Okinawans live a long time, a quarter Tai Chi exercises, and then a quarter interviews of Okinawans in Ogimi Village. I was so disappointed when I read this book. I was expecting the truth to Ikigai, how to find an Ikigai, what really is an Ikigai, and it didn't give any of that. And this diagram also, I was expecting an in-depth explanation of how they got this diagram, why this is the diagram for Ikigai, and it just really wasn't in this book for me. This is really disappointing. And Dr. Suzuki doesn't like this book either. So it's just another misconception about Ikigai is very frustrating. But when I interview the Okinawans and I say, what's your Ikigai? If they don't know the definition of Ikigai, I explain what an Ikigai is, and then they go, oh, well, okay, and then they answer me. So it's not, it's not an unknown concept. But all of the Okinawans that live to 100 or more have an Ikigai. They do have an Ikigai. They're very strict with their Ikigai. They have something. It doesn't matter what. Most Ikigais are different, and yet I've found that the older a person gets, their Ikigai is other people. So everyone that I interview that is over 90, They say that it's being with friends, being with family, being with their partner, talking to people like me, just talking, being with people, that's their ikigai. Now, if we go younger than 90, their ikigais are more varied. It could be their hobby, it could be their business, it could be something else, which is perfectly fine. I just found it very interesting that after the age of 90, an ikigai is more about just being with other human beings, and not money, not things, not anything else. Just very interesting. So I encourage you to find your ikigai if you want to live to 100. Not everyone wants to live to 100, but this is the common thing across the board, is that person that lives to 100 in America, that person that lives to 100 in Canada, Australia, Europe, Philippines, it doesn't matter where, they have an ikigai. They have something that keeps them going. And also you can use logic with this. If you tell someone you have a purpose in the morning, you're likely not to get out of bed, or you're not going to leave your room, right? There's a lot of grandmas and grandpas who never leave their house and hardly leave the living room or something like that, right? So if you don't have an ikigai, you're maybe not going to leave your living room, and you're just going to watch TV. And because of that, you're going to do a lot of sitting, and you're going to stop walking. And if you stop walking, your body is going to deteriorate very quickly, right? When you get older, if you don't continue exercise, you're going to deteriorate very, very quickly. So you're walking less, your body is moving less, and therefore you can't leave the living room even if you wanted to. You can't go buy groceries. You can only accept what groceries are given to you. And you'll also have a difficult time cooking them because your body is already very weak and fatigued because you're not exercising. Therefore, you're probably not going to eat as healthy as you wanted or should, right? So we don't have an ikigai, so we're exercising less and not eating as healthy. And then you're feeling isolated because you can't go out and visit your friends or your family like you want to, and they don't come to you. So you're starting to feel isolated, and you're feeling depressed. Then you feel depressed, and then you start having a lower mental health. And then if you have lower mental health, then I could go on forever with all the concepts, but it'll take a very long time. Is that once you lose your ikigai, then it connects to everything else, and then you kind of deteriorate and go from there. Because it's all connected. Everything's connected. So what if your ikigai involves a lot of sitting? My ikigai involves a lot of sitting as well. If I was 95 and I was sitting in front of a computer all day, every day, like I do now, that would not be good. Because I was 95. But I'm not 95. I'm much younger. So my day job is being in front of a computer almost all the time. Therefore, though, I know that I need to go to the gym. I go to the gym, or I go on walks. And I go to the grocery store and choose to buy healthy food, and I hang out with my friends, right? So it's about making decisions. But when you're 90 plus, think of your grandparents, if they don't have ikigai and then they start deteriorating, then you know things go south because it's harder to bounce back, right? So they have to constantly have an ikigai or reason to get up and keep exercising. A lot of grandparents, when they feel isolated, then they just stop doing all of these things because they're depressed, and a lot of them, even Okinawans, say like, yeah, no, I don't want to live until I'm kind of done. Like it's very depressing statements, but I understand. So you gotta watch grandparents really at that age. Dr. Suzuki says that one of the #1 killers of the Okinawans was nursing homes. Nursing homes. Back then, there were no nursing homes, and when you know there's no nursing homes, you better keep moving. You better keep taking care of yourself. So nursing homes are actually detrimental to people because we're seeing more people live a longer time, but they're not living quality lives. So we have lots of centenarians who have dementia. We have lots of people who are living a long time, but stuck in their bed all day. It's terrible. So we don't want to just live a long time. We want to live and keep living our life. So nursing homes, surprisingly, are not good for the population. All right, so that are all 5 misconceptions. I hope that anyone watching, if you see a video about Okinawa, please comment about these, because I guarantee you someone's going to talk about purple sweet potato or veganism or something. if you have any questions for me, I'll stay here for like a few more minutes. And, but that's pretty much it. Those are the misconceptions. They drive me nuts. They drive me absolutely crazy. But I'm not a big influencer, so I don't know how to spread this information out as widely as I'd like to. But I will get there. I'll keep working on it. I give speeches here in Okinawa. I'm giving speeches in Thailand next week about Okinawan longevity. So is Dr. Suzuki. Dr. Suzuki and I went to Dubai in November. Dubai was super cool, and gave a speech about Okinawan longevity, and then also talked to journalists and stuff about longevity as well. It's very fun. So we're trying our best. It was just very difficult on this small island. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for watching. I'm glad this information helped you guys that were watching. If you have any questions at any point, you can put them in the comments, because I clearly read all my comments, good or bad, unfortunately, which is like not good for mental health apparently, but it is what it is. I'm okay. I'm strong mentally. I've learned from the Okinawans how to be strong mentally. So, but that's a story for another day. I have some war stories. That's gonna be my next live stream. War stories, not war stories, but like the way that the war affected the Okinawans and how they don't have PTSD and how they are very happy. Because some of these Okinawans have watched their siblings be shot and killed, decapitated, all that stuff. Sorry to end on a very sad note, but and the Okinawans are some of the happiest people in the world, and living to 100 years old. So that's, if you want to stick around, subscribe, watch my next live stream, I will do that. I'll talk about how to be happy like an Okinawan. So thank you for watching, and I will end here because I'm not used to this live stream stuff. So thank you for watching, and I'll end with my Okinawan language phrases that I always say, which is nife debiru, which is thank you in Okinawan language, and then yutashiku unige sabira, which is Okinawan for yoroshiku onegaishimasu, and then yoroshiku onegaishimasu is Japanese for thank you for being kind to me. It's very hard to translate this stuff, so just say yutashiku. If you ever email me, comment, I say yutashiku, so you can say it too. Thank you. I hope Will lives to 100, not 99. Aim for 100, okay? Alright. Nife debiru, yutashiku unige sabira. Bye!